In Lightfall, we had a few new SMGs. There's a lot of controversy regarding what is the best SMG currently in Destiny 2. In today's video, I'm going to be ranking all SMGs in the game concurrently. Remember, if you're watching this video after Season of Defiance, there's a potential that new SMGs could be added. In today's video, we're going to go from F tier to S tier, starting from my honest opinions. Now, if you guys have any suggestions or comments on the placements, let me know in the comment section. I'm interested to hear your guys' opinions. This will mainly be a PvP ranking. However, some weapons will also be ranked in PvE. With that being said, let's get right in today's video. These are currently all the SMGs in Destiny 2. Keep in mind, with the release of this video in the future, this is subjected to change. However, keep in mind, this is overall going to be fairly accurate when ranking these SMGs. If you guys would like to see a PvE version, let me know in the comment section. Alrighty, so we're going to be starting with the Borrowed Time. This is a Gambit 720 SMG. Borrowed Time is a lot of fun. It can roll with perfect perks like rangefinder and tap the trigger. Overall, right now it is not good with the meta. Unfortunately, weapons like Ikilos as well as the Immortal SMG do kind of destroy it, as it's just better in every kind of way. However, currently with Borrowed Time, I would give it A tier. The reason behind this is because, well, it just can't compete against weapons such as the Ikilos and the Immortal and Teraba. Now, I know obviously this will probably go to an S tier when Ikilos and Immortal get nerfed. However, we're going to keep it at A tier. The next thing we're going to be rating on this list is going to be the Sharer's Wrath. Sharer's Wrath is a legendary weapon. It was obtained from Trials of Osiris originally. It can roll with perks like Dynamic Sway Reduction, Kill Clip, and any kind of perk you like. Overall, this SMG is still super valuable in the meta. If, let's say, Immortal and Ikilos get nerfed, this would definitely be S tier. However, again, unfortunately, we're going to have to throw it in the A spot. I would love to put it in S tier. However, unfortunately, it's just not competable when it comes to weapons like Immortal. I'm going to be honest, before we get right into more of the rankings, I would like to say we have a special sponsor today. I would like to recommend you a great service. Diving.net, you can find teams to complete different activities like raids, dungeons, Trials of Osiris, exotic farms, and many more. All the services can be done without account sharing. You don't need to give your login or password. To order a service that you like, you need to choose the self-play option. When you select something that you like, choose your platform. In this case, if you play on PC, select PC. From here, to choose the self-play option, go all the way down and then click self-play. After you're satisfied with what you're going to purchase, add to cart, and then click purchase. After finding out what you want to purchase, you're going to want to go to your coupons and type code HECTIC for a 15% discount on all products. From here, type your email so that they can contact you. Then choose a payment method and check out. I'd highly advise this service. The best part is you can contact an operator at all times, 24/7. SMG that was obtainable last season. However, it is not that great when it comes to PvP. So therefore, we're going to be throwing it in a C tier. Now, Callous Mini Tool is known to be a PvE weapon. However, it is still decent. It's a 900, so it does compete with Funnel Web and things like the Pizzicato. However, it does not have good perks whatsoever when it comes to PvP. Therefore, it is kind of useless. I mean, if you can get plays with Incandescent, go for it, but I would not advise running this in PvP whatsoever. Now, we're going to be rating the NTO next. The NTO is one of my favorite SMGs right now. It is actually the same frame as the Sharer's Wrath and Borrowed Time. However, the thing with this is it can get perks like multi-kill clip, which are actually surprisingly really good when it comes to, outgunning things like the Ikilos and the weapons such as Immortal. Surprisingly, I'm going to be throwing this at a S tier. I know this is going to be super controversial. I mean, again, this is my preference, but if you are a good player, the NEO can 100% kill a, Ikilos or stuff like that. The next thing we're going to be rating is Teraba. I shouldn't even have to explain why. This is just straight S tier. If there was like literally God tier, I'd throw it in here as well. Now, the next thing we're going to be rating is Year 1 Mida Mini Tool. This just gets thrown in the deep. there's no reason to have it in anything above C or anything like that. Now, submission. The submission adept can actually go with funnel web and pizzicato. It is the same frame, and surprisingly, it is actually not horrible. Overall, it is mainly preference, but it does work in PvP. If you are a good player, you will have a easier time with this. The next thing we're going to be ranking is Death Adder. Death Adder is actually a fantastic submachine gun. It comes from the Prophecy. Now keep in mind, this can actually roll with Dynamic Sway and Rangefinder. We're going to be throwing it in the B slot. It can compete with things like Funnel Web and Submission and Pizzicato. That's why we're going to be putting it here. Overall, this is a lot of fun to use. Now, Cold Front. Cold Front is just, it's not that great. We're going to be putting it in C slot. It can roll with great perks, but it's just, it can't compete with the current meta. Therefore, I think it belongs in C spot. It's not horrible, but it does work, but it's not the greatest. Now we're going to be talking about Escape Velocity. Escape Velocity is overall fun to use in some cases, but it wouldn't go anywhere above a B. Me personally, I think it belongs in the C tier with Manticore and Cold Front. Again, honestly, it's all preference. Osteria Striga just goes in D. There's literally no use of this whatsoever. Honestly, I wouldn't even see a reason to use this in PvP whatsoever. Huckleberry. This right here is a monster in the current meta. This belongs in S tier. It is a Rampage SMG, yeah. Try it out. You'll understand why, obviously, if you use it. Risk Runner, it can be fairly decent, therefore I'm going to have to put it in C slot. The reason why is because of the Chain Conductor perk. This does work really, really well with things like Arc. However, I'm going to be rating the Aikilos next. This, straight to S tier. It can roll with things like Dynamic Sway Reduction, as well as Rangefinder. Therefore, it works fantastic in PvP. Give it a shot if you haven't gotten it. The Immortal is straight S tier. Target lock on this thing is a literal beast. I've literally never seen a better SMG. These right here are S tier SMGs. I know I'm going to get a lot of controversy in the comments regarding this, but trust me, try it out. Now, the next thing we're going to be rating is Multi-Mach. This right here is going to probably be in the B tier. It's not horrible, but it's not the greatest with the nerfs to the zoom. Now, I'm going to be honest, this 7th Seraph weapon, I completely forgot the name. But it goes straight to the C slot. It's horrible. I've used it before. Honestly, I'd love to put it in the D slot. However, it's just not terrible, but it's also pretty useless. Now, with the introduction of Lightfall, we've gotten a new submachine gun. Now, this submachine gun is actually fairly decent when it comes to PvP. Therefore, we're going to be putting it in the A slot. It's not horrible, but it's also not the greatest when it comes to competing against things like this. Now, I'm going to be 100% honest. If these weapons were not currently the meta, ignore the Huckleberry and Enio, but if Teraba, Aikilos, and Immortal did not exist, these 3 SMGs would be in S tier right now. Therefore, consider these ones in S tier, and these ones just being D when they get nerfed. They won't be totally useless, but therefore, they're not going to be the greatest. Now, with the release of Season of the Plunder, we had this SMG, and honestly, Blood Fluid is really not that great. It's alright in some scenarios, but we're going to be throwing it in the B slot. It's not horrible when it comes to VP, but I mean, it's better in PvE for sure. Now, this weapon was obtained through the Crucible last season through Lord Shax. This can roll with actually surprisingly really good perks, including Rangefinder, Dynamic Sway Reduction. Therefore, overall it is a 900 RPM, so it can compete with things like, Funnel Web, Submission, Pizzicato, Death Adder, Multi-Mach, and Blood Fleet. So we're going to be throwing it in the B tier. Now, if you guys look, we also had the Guardian Games weapon. It's been ages since I've seen or touched this thing, but it was honestly horrible when it first came out. I did test it out for a little bit, therefore we're literally going to be throwing it in D slot. This thing will get outgunned by hand cannons, even close combat. Therefore, it's kind of useless. Now, the Future Warcall SMG is actually not horrible, but it does not go anything above a C tier. Only because it was a 900 at the time, but it will get gunned by these current weapons right here. Now, surprisingly, the Forcenic Nightmare is actually not horrible. However, we're going to put it in a C tier. The reason behind this is because it really can't compete with 900s, which would be these SMGs right here. Now, this right here is the Duality Dungeon SMG. This right here is just a PvE god. This honestly shouldn't even be on the list, but, PvE players, don't take disrespect to this. This is more like PvE SMGs right here. That's why we're putting it in D tier, because they're not lethal in PvP. Now, this right here is the Iron Banner SMG. This is the replacement to the Unforgiveness that we'll be putting here. Honestly, you can get kill clip, but it's not the greatest. Now, this actually, the Strike SMG, the new one that came out in Season of Seraph, is surprisingly really underrated. It can get rangefinder, headstone, pretty much a lot of cool perks. We're going to be putting it in A slot. Overall, it's actually a lot of fun to use. Now, these 3 SMGs are actually, you're going to be shocked with the last one. However, these can go to C tier. They're not super valuable, but they're not horrible. Now, the Shadowkeep SMG belongs in a B tier. The reason behind this is because actually, if you are a good player, you can do really well with this SMG. When things like these guns get nerfed, I'm calling it, these SMGs are going to be super valid in the current meta, guys. You know, save this video, like it, so you can go back and look at it. But I'm calling it, you know, come when the SMGs get nerfed, these A and B tier are going to be S tier. Now, I do potentially think that things like Australia Striga and Manticore could get better in the future, but overall, I can't see them going that far. Overall, though, this is my ranking for all SMGs in Lightfall. If you guys enjoyed today's video, consider leaving a like or subscribing to the channel. Have a great rest of your day, guys. Stay safe. Peace.